Hi guys, welcome back to the Manchester City Retro Save. This is Chris, and today we've got a bit of a novelty episode for you. We have a double header against Bristol Rovers, starting with the away game in the league, followed by the home game in the league. Our form has been very good recently. Since we lost to Newcastle in the Cup, we've won every single game, and we've been scoring plenty of goals as well, with a 4-0 win against York, 4-2 against Walsall. We then played Hampton and Richmond from non-league in the FA Cup second round, put 6 past them with a very rotated side. Then we put 8 past Bournemouth. They were down to 10 men quite early, and we very much took advantage of that. And then we put 6 past Stoke and 4 past Blackpool. I'm very much looking forward to this. It's a bit of a strange one, playing the same team twice in succession. So hopefully we will get 2 good results and continue our fantastic league run. In terms of the league at the moment, we are 12 points clear at the top of the table. Fulham have got 3 games in hand, however, which if they win all 3 games, it would mean that they're only 5 points behind us. So we're far from safe at the moment for the league title. But Fulham as well, they also remain unbeaten, so they are still going to be very much challengers at the top of the table. We have had a couple of issues as we've gone through this season. We've really been struggling with injuries on and off. It doesn't look quite as bad this time as it did not that long ago. We've really been suffering with injuries on and off. They've all been relatively simple and quick recoveries. However, Craig Russell, who picked up an injury in his last game, is out for 2 to 4 months after breaking his ankle. It's a bit of a harsh injury, but Neil Heaney has been in really good form. So, with 13 goals and 13 assists from 12 starts and 10 substitute appearances, he really has been in top form. The other surprise that we've had, if we come to this screen for a moment, the board contacted me at the start of the month and said that there have been an improvement in the club's finances, which has meant that we've been able to get a new transfer budget which will set us up nicely for the January transfer window, and they've actually managed to give us £5.25 million, which at this level is a lot of money. I'm not looking at spending the earth at the moment. We've got quite a strong squad. I think it's just going to be a case of picking up and trying to sign 1 or 2 players that can benefit us for next season, where we'll hopefully be in the division above. So hopefully when it comes to transfer window, we'll have things to announce there. But without further ado, let's get into this first of the double header matches against Bristol Rovers. Like I say, we've been in really good form. They've got good form themselves though, currently sat 5th place in the table. We are struggling with match fitness with 1 or 2 players because we've had so much fixture congestion, but hopefully we can continue our good run of form, put some more goals in and secure ourselves that top spot. Should I say continue securing ourselves that top spot. I'm hopeful that Sean Golter's form continues as well. He's currently our top scorer with 21 goals, I think it is, in the league this season. He really is in top form, and even when he hasn't been in certain games, we've brought him off. John Macken's come in, he scored a couple of goals. He struggled for the most part, John Macken, but he did score a hat-trick in the FA Cup tie against one of the non-league teams, so that's picked his performance level up a little bit and his confidence. Paul Dickov's still really struggling. He might be a player that we look to sell either in January or at the end of the season. If we end up getting promoted, then he might not be of much use. We've just created a good chance there. Sean Golter with an effort which ended up going over the bar via a deflection. From the resulting corner, Horlock plays it in, and Tushkadadz was there, and it's only just over the bar. So the first 15 minutes played. Bristol Rovers are pushing forward a little bit. They've not really tested our defence or goalkeeper. We're the ones doing all the pushing at the moment, and it certainly seems to be going in the right direction, but we need that goal to settle things down. As Sean Golter whips it out to wide right, and Sean Wright Phillips, who has also been in really good form, as a front three we've done really well, and Edgehill producing a brilliant save there from Armshaw, and it remains 0-0. We've got the resulting corner here with Pollock. He's going to swing it in, and it's toward the far post. And Tushkadadz is there, and a brilliant save from Armshaw, but it went straight back to Tushkadadz, and he has scored from a set piece once again. he's been really dangerous from the corners especially. We have a 1-goal lead here away at Bristol Rovers. As you can see by the stats, we're absolutely dominating the game here, and hopefully it will allow us to get us another goal before half time. As Goldser finds Neil Heaney in the penalty area, he cuts inside and has the strike, and Armshaw again producing a very good save there. He's certainly keeping Bristol Rovers in the game at the moment. Kevin Horlock with the resulting corner. In it comes toward Morrison at the back post, and it's cleared away to Basford, who just runs it out for Bristol Rovers. In terms of possession, we're actually doing a little bit better in this game so far, with 74% possession over the course of the first half. As you can see by the match stats, we're absolutely dominating going forward. So we just need to make sure that we don't let complacency creep in, because even though it's only 1-0, when you're playing as well as we are, it is easy to get complacent. We have to keep on top of these things and really push for what we can. It's been quite a steady start to the second half. We have had more chances, but nothing worthy of note. But Heaney has got the ball here for a throw-in, and he finds Sean Goater, who's just keeping himself in the channel there, and he plays it into Jamie Pollock, who fires it in, and I think the goalkeeper Armshaw touched that onto the crossbar, but it's come down for Neil Heaney, and as he tried to find Edgehill, it's cleared by Gray, but it's only as far as Tony Vaughan, and unfortunately the chance has dissipated. Still looking rather strong at the moment. Tony Vaughan is looking quite tired. He might be a player that we're going to look to bring off here. We are struggling in terms of full fitness for some of these players. Nick Fenton is going to come on. Now, Nick Fenton was in the under-21s. He came in for the FA Cup games, played really well. We then decided to play him for a league game at right back against Bournemouth, in which he again played really, really well. We actually beat Bournemouth 8-1, and he was very convincing at fullback, the youngster, and he's certainly given good account of himself in that he's certainly seems to be ready to make that step up. We're going to bring Michael Brown on here for Jamie Pollock, who is struggling for fitness himself. We're going to bring Richard Jobson on as well for Andy Morrison at centre-back. We have another highlight in the process. Here's Kevin Horlock moving through the centre of the pitch here, and he finds Neil Heaney, who plays it into Sean Goater. Sean Goater's in, and another brilliant save from Armshaw. He has been absolutely outstanding for Bristol Rovers in this first game anyway. Hopefully he won't be quite as good in the second game, but we are certainly dominating this match. But again, it's still only 1-0. They haven't had a shot on target, but it only takes one. I've said this frequently beforehand, and I think that there is still a danger, but we are playing so well at the moment and dominating the ball, but it only takes one error. But Basford has gone in hard on Edgehill. Sorry, it's ended up... Sorry, I missed that. Edgehill actually went in hard on Basford, and Edgehill has received a straight red card here. So I'm not entirely sure how we're going to sort this out tactically here. What we're going to do, we're going to move Fenton into the centre-back role with Tiscadadz and Jobson, the more experienced players either side of him. And I think that's pretty much all we can do in this situation, unfortunately. We're going to push Kevin Horlock back, and we're going to take Gerard Vikins off and bring Hayward on in central midfield. And I think that's going to be pretty much it for the substitutions. But that red card could very much open the door for Bristol Rovers. Going three at the back is a little bit of a risk. It's not something I'd normally do, but we haven't got the full-back options to make those kind of changes. Fenton does really well there at centre-back to make that clearance, and this is Jobson into Hayward in central midfield. Look at the space there for Sean Goater in the centre. Finds Neil Heaney, and Heaney finds Sean Wright-Phillips. Nope, Sean Wright-Phillips just got blocked out, and Armshaw makes the claim. Armshaw with the delivery forward. Good clearance with the header there from Jobson, but this is Gray now. Unfortunately, they are going to overload the wide areas a little bit here. And that's a lovely switch. Sean Wright-Phillips couldn't beat Chalice to it. This is Lee now. Into Chalice. Now Shaw. Plays it over the top here for Gray. Bristol Rovers with the chance, and it's a good save by Nicky Weaver. And I think we're just going to change things slightly tactically. We're going to bring Heaney back into the wing back role, and we're going to bring Sean Wright Phillips back into a wing back role as well. It's just to get that extra cover out wide. They're not great in that area of the pitch, but it just gives us that back five, hopefully, and we'll see the game out. Bristol Rovers, of course, have grown in the game now with that red card, and this is Heaney. Back to Jobson. Kevin Horlock back to Jobson again. Just got to be very careful on the ball here. This is Haywood. Sean Gota, Michael Brown could make the run ahead of him, but he didn't make that run. Sean Wright Phillips out wide right here, playing in that wing back role instead of out wide on the wing, and he's ended up losing the ball here, and this is Lee into Bennett. Bristol Rovers trying to push forward now. Lee switches inside to Gray. And Gray's charging forward here. It's still Gray, and he's put it over the bar. That was a huge opportunity for Bristol Rovers. They really have grown into it since that red card. And as we go into added time, there's 6 minutes added on, and we're 4 minutes in. I'm hoping that we can just see this out now. Kevin Horlock back into Sean Wright Phillips here. Now it's Michael Brown with the strike, and it's just over the bar. He hit the top of the net, but it remains 1-0. Ormshaw with the resulting goal kick here. There's only seconds left. Tiskadads wins the header, and Sean Wright Phillips gets in there. It's full time. Luckily, the red card didn't cost us, and we have a 1-0 win away at Bristol Rovers. And heading into the home game, obviously, we'll now be without another one of our fullbacks, and it's a position that we really are struggling for. Hopefully, it might be somewhere where we might strengthen in the transfer window with the extra funds the board has provided for us, but we will have to see basically who's available and who might want to join the club. The fact that we're top of the league and we're playing so well will work to our advantage, because hopefully players that are probably better than our level at the moment might look at us and think, well, if they're going to get promoted, we might be able to play regularly in the division above. So it is an option, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But it was a very good result considering the red card. We did dominate the game for the most part until that red card. So a lot of positives to take from that fixture. And as we go into the home game against Bristol Rovers, we continue to hold on to the gap at the top of the table. And I'm not entirely sure when Fulham will be able to get their games in hand in, but when it comes to it, we'll have a look a little bit closer nearer the time. So as you can see, there's only a couple of days difference, gap, should I say, between the two games. So I'm just going to run through and see how we get on. In terms of our youth academy intake, it looks like we've got an excellent intake. We've got 2 fullbacks coming through, centre back, at least 1 centre back it says, an attacking midfielder, and it looks like we've got a couple of wing backs that might be coming through as well. Now bear in mind, with the youth intake, real players do come through, and that is quite a little novelty thing which I really like about this save. So I'm not sure who'll come through this season, but it will be players that potentially we will recognise where Manchester City are concerned. As such, just as an example, when Wayne Rooney comes through at Everton, he will appear in the relative time spectrum as a youth player there, and again, it may mean that we could sign him at some point in the future. It'll probably be, I would say, the 4th, maybe even the 5th season before he comes into game, and it'll be the early 2000s at that point. So that'll probably be there or thereabouts when he started to come through. From a personal perspective, in City's youth academy, I'm looking forward to the likes of Nader Manua, Micah Richards, Stephen Ireland came through, of course, and players like that. Daniel Sturridge is another one, and Kasper Schmeichel, he's another one that I'm looking forward to seeing come through, and hopefully I will be able to allow them to have different careers where they do stay at City, because they did have the necessary quality as they went through their careers. Of course, Kasper Schmeichel won the Premier League. I think Daniel Sturridge may have also won the Premier League with Chelsea or Liverpool. Definitely not Liverpool, but I'm sure he won it with Chelsea. But yeah, looking into things, I mean, Tiskadads is now attracting interest from Leicester. Of course, we are in the middle of December. So as we get towards the January transfer window, players are going to get linked with moves away. We are looking to do business. We have confirmed one signing already, which I will go through in the next video when we do probably a game at the end of the January. We'll do the game at the end of the January transfer window. We'll go through the transfers that have managed to be sorted, and then we'll do the first game in February probably as well, just to cover it all up, and then we'll be able to move forward after that as well. So here we are for the home game against Bristol Rovers. Nick Fenton is going to start once again at right back, which is a really good experience for him. I mean, as you look at him, he's been improving, especially with his physicals. He is really improving. He's a determined character. He's not very good at marking, really, but he's a good header of the ball at 6'1", and he's a reasonable tackler. But with his pace and his natural fitness, he can get up and down that side. His crossing does need work, but again, he's only 19. He has got time to develop. So we've got Weaver in goal, Vaughan, Morrison, Tiskedards and Fenton at the back. Vikings, Horlock and Pollock in the midfield trio with Heaney and Wright Phillips either side of Sean Goater. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more comfortable in this game than it was in the away game, and also hopefully we won't have another red card, especially at fullback. We can't afford to lose another fullback because Chris Mackin is currently out injured as well. So we are struggling in that position at the moment. So here we go with game 2 against Bristol Rovers, and straight away we've got a highlight straight from kickoff with Tony Vaughan in possession into Kevin Horlock. Tony Vaughan again. Just nice steady start is all we need with Morrison now. Just holds onto the ball, lays it back to Vaughan. And he's gone over the top looking for the early run of Heaney, and the defender Lee got in there, but he's given it straight to Heaney, and it's a good save from Armshaw, and Goater couldn't quite get the shot away. Smith with a brilliant challenge, and it goes out for a goal kick. Slightly unconventional, but certainly a positive start from Manchester City there. And in terms of possession, again, we're dominating the game, hitting in and around the 70% mark in the opening 15 minutes. And I've said it before about City in real life, when they're playing, possession doesn't mean anything if you can't do anything with it. So we've really got to be clinical, probably a little bit more clinical in this game than we did in the last game against Bristol Rovers. As Gerard Vikings brings it away and knocks it straight over the top here for Sean Goater. He's round the goalkeeper and he's put it in. There was a hint of offside there, but it looks like the goal is going to stand. And we have a 1-goal lead a lot earlier on here, thanks to Sean Goater. So we've certainly made the most of our early chance there, as we come into another highlight with Pollock, and he plays it out wide for Sean Wright Phillips here. And he beats his man. He tried to play an early ball, but he didn't get enough on it. And the clearance is only as far as Tiskedards, who finds Kevin Horlock with a header. And now Wright Phillips finds Neil Heaney at the far post, and it's 2-0. Our home form continues to be absolutely on point. Offside has actually been given for that one, so it remains 1-0, which is a little bit disappointing. I thought we'd done well there. But we'd certainly seem to be more comfortable. But again, it's still only 1-0. Same happened in the away game. We had that 1 goal, and then we couldn't put it to bed afterwards. So we've got to be on point in the match today. This is Tony Vaughan into Neil Heaney. Back to Tony Vaughan and into Gerard Vikings, who knocks it over the top for Goater. And there was a bit of swerve on that right at the end. It's gone out for a goal kick though. It just went past the post. But again, we're looking really positive going forward. Morrison here to Tiskedards. Now Vikings. Again, looking over the top there for Sean Goater. Couldn't quite get it through to him, as Nick Fenton wins the ball off Gray. And Nick Fenton, the makeshift right back here, tried to get the ball in and couldn't beat the first man, but he got there the second time and he found Goater in the centre, who puts it in for his second of the match. It's 2-0 and immediately we are more comfortable here as we head into half time with a 2-goal lead at home to Bristol Rovers. Again, even a 2-goal lead can be very much an easy comeback. If Bristol Rovers got an early goal in the second half, it could be a little bit dicey for us. We don't want any complacency, as I've said before. So it's, again, my job to make sure that the players do not get complacent. So we need to really push on and probably try and get a third goal just to kill the game off. We may look to make some changes as well, But we will see how this goes here. With Sean Wright Phillips at the far post, and it's just over. It was actually Tiskadads that won it in the air. It would have been. I would have been quite surprised if it was Sean Wright Phillips, given the fact that he's not particularly a large player in in the circumstances of set pieces. Here is Nick Fenton out wide right here. He takes it further wide. He's got Sean Wright Phillips inside. He finds Pollock, who then finds Wright Phillips, and now it's Gota, and he's put it wide. It should have been his hat trick, and that is unfortunate for him. Let's have a look here. So Sean Wright Phillips and Neil Heaney are actually struggling in this game. So we're going to bring Matt Hayward on the right hand side. We're going to bring Jeff Whitley on the left hand side. He's not a conventional attacking midfielder, but he can play in that position just about. We're also going to bring Tiskadads off and bring Jobson on. Jobson has also been in quite good form recently, so it only seems fair to have him as an option to bring on. As we approach the final 20 minutes of the match, we're still looking very comfortable. We're holding on to the majority of possession, and in terms of match stats, we're certainly dominating once again. As Tony Vaughan finds Morrison inside, now Kevin Horlock, Gerard Vikins, Sean Gota, who's still on that hat-trick of course, Pollock into Vikins, back to Pollock again, who knocks it over the top looking for Jeff Whitley, who does control it really well here, and he makes the cross for Hayward at the far post. Bear in mind, Hayward is about 6'4". He won the header really well, but he put it just wide of the post. We're going to make a couple more substitutions, I think, just to see the game out. I'm going to bring John Macken on for Sean Gota. He is on a hat-trick, but unfortunately, I'd rather rest him ready for the next game and keep him fresh. We'll also take off Kevin Horlock and bring on Ian Bishop just to see the game out now. It's been a bit more comfortable in this second game. The job has certainly been done, and we maintain our run of unbeaten games after that defeat against Fulham in the league not that long ago. Macken into Vikins, now Ian Bishop. He loses out, and this is Penrice pushing forward here for Bristol Rovers. Penrice shoots from distance. It's gone quite a way over, and it's too little too late for Bristol Rovers. We're into added time, and as the match comes to a close, we've secured a 2-0 victory here, and we continue our very good form to extend our lead at the top of the table. So there is the league table once the matches have finished. Again, Fulham still have 3 games in hand, of course. However, it looks like they have had a little bit of a blip in their form, because even if they win their 3 games, we are 8 points clear of them now rather than 5. So they must potentially have lost a game somewhere along the line. And the 2 games against Bristol Rovers that we've won has put them in the mix to drop out of the playoffs potentially. So very important results for us and for Bristol Rovers, unfortunately, in their case. So we'll just move on slightly just to have a look and see where we will get up to next. We've had 7 straight wins, including 4 straight clean sheets, and very positive form in terms of that manner as well. So looking at the schedule, we will come back. We're going to get quite a few games under our belt again. We're going to come back at the end of January for the home game, probably against Preston. We'll also go through transfers when we come to the away game against Chesterfield. So thank you very much guys for watching this video. My name is Chris, and I will see you again next time.